There. Good evening. I'd like to call our meeting to order. Thank everybody for coming out to our council meeting tonight. I'd like to lead us in our prayer. And right from the prayer, we'll go into the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Father, thank you so much for loving us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. McCullum, call roll, please.
All right. Councilman Roberts.
Here.
President Logan.
Here.
Councilman Hinton.
Here.
Councilman Davis.
Here.
And Councilman Hogg.
Here.
Present.
Thank you. Item 4 is presentations. The mayor's office has a few presentations, so she will make her way down to the main floor.
The Alabama Water Pollution Control Association advances the fundamental and practical knowledge concerning water supply and treatment and the nature, collection, treatment, reclamation, and disposal of domestic and industrial wastewaters, and the design, construction, operation, and management of facilities used in water supply and wastewater collection and treatment of reclamation. The organization has a wastewater plant awards committee where its members inspect wastewater systems across the state of Alabama and award the most deserving plant once a year. This committee promotes efficient and effective wastewater supplies for the citizens of the state, as well as increasing and improving knowledge concerning wastewater treatment and the operation and management of wastewater facilities. The City of Northport's employee, Mr. Chum Baker, was a member of this committee in 2019. The City of Northport's wastewater treatment facility has received the 2019 Best Operated Plant Award, which is a top honor given in each category. It's the second year in a row we've won this award, and here to receive tonight is Mr. Wesley Cunningham, Northport Wastewater Treatment Plant Superintendent.
For his dedication and years of service to the Northport Wastewater Treatment Plant and his involvement with the Alabama Water Pollution Control Association, on behalf of myself, the council, and the utilities department, we would like to honor him by presenting this plaque to his family in addition to displaying one at the wastewater plant. Chum graduated from the University of Alabama with a degree in biology. His son Charlie graduated from ACA last year and is now attending the University of Alabama. His son Walt is currently attending ACA. The last call resolution from Chum was adopted by the AWPCA Board of Directors during the September 18th, 2019 AWPCA Awards Banquet. AWPCA presented a certificate of recognition for Chum's dedicated service to the Plant Awards Committee during the September 18th, 2019 Awards Committee, or Banquet. Chum was a faithful member of First United Methodist Church in Tuscaloosa. Thanks, Chum, for your public service and dedication to this municipality. Your character, wisdom, and humor continue to impact and influence the entire staff on a daily basis. Chum worked for the City of Northport Wastewater Treatment Plant for 7 years. He unexpectedly passed away on May the 27th, 2019. He and his wife, Mary Lou, have been married for 21 years. He loved Alabama football, cooking, hunting, and fishing. We will greatly miss you, Chum. Would y'all come forward? October is Dyslexic Awareness Month, and so we have a proclamation. Whereas dyslexia is a specific learning disability that is neurobiological in origin and is characterized by difficulties with accurate and/or fluent word recognition and by poor spelling and decoding abilities. And whereas these difficulties typically are caused by a deficit in the phonological component of language that is unexpected in relation to any other cognitive abilities and to the provision of effective classroom instruction. And whereas secondary consequences may include problems in reading comprehension and reduced reading experience that can impede growth of vocabulary and background knowledge. And whereas dyslexia occurs on a continuation of severity affecting between 10 and 20% of the population, according to the National Institutes of Health. And whereas citizens of Northport will benefit from increased awareness of the nature of dyslexia, the early signs, warning signs of dyslexia, and the value of multisensory structure language interventions with students with dyslexia, and whereas greater recognition and understanding are necessary to ensure that individuals with dyslexia living in Alabama and in all other Americans with dyslexia are accurately identified and provided with appropriate services so they might lead maximally productive lives. Now therefore, I, Donna Aaron, by the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Northport, Alabama, do hereby proclaim October 2019 as the National Dyslexia Awareness Month in the city of Northport. And I'll encourage all citizens of Northport to learn more about dyslexia and to offer support to parents and educators and individuals affected by dyslexia. We do have a group here from Huntington Place. Ms. Hamner, their principal, would y'all like to come forward and accept this proclamation and say a few things? Would you like to introduce your, come on.
My name's Addison Holiday, and I'd like to thank you all for recognizing us with dyslexia and helping us be able to learn a little easier for us. My name is Madeline, and I want to thank everyone who came out here today to recognize all of us.
Thank you. I just want to thank Mr. Hogg for helping make this happen and for Ms. Hamner and her support. As my daughter's dyslexic, and it's been a journey, and I just want to read a quote. It's by Rick Riordan, the best-selling author of Percy Jackson books. It says, "Dyslexic kids are creative, outside-the-box thinkers. They have to be, because they don't see or solve problems the same way other kiddos do. In school, unfortunately, they are sometimes written off as lazy, unmotivated, rude, or even stupid. They aren't. Making Percy dyslexic was my way of honoring the potential of all the kids I've known who have those conditions. It's not a bad thing to be different. Sometimes it's the mark of being very, very talented." And again, I just really appreciate Northport and for their willingness to support us and be behind us. Thank you.
At Huntington Place, we've been very committed to make sure we meet the needs of our students. The research says that 1 in 5 students have characteristics for dyslexia. I have 6 teachers who are going to attend a dyslexia conference with me in about 2 weeks in Birmingham, and we're a member of the International Dyslexia Association, so we're very committed to make sure we're meeting the needs of our students. Tuscaloosa County School System has also committed to training our instructional coaches through the Ortho-Gillian process. And we also have teachers that are our K-3 teachers that are attending letters training. It's about a 2-year commitment. So Tuscaloosa County is certainly trying to make sure we're meeting the needs of our students who have dyslexia.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 5 is approval of our agenda. In our pre-meeting, we elected as a council, or discussed it rather, to delete item 8B4. So with that being said, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the deletion of item 8B4. That's in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hogg. Any questions or comments?
Councilman Roberts,
Yes.
President Logan,
Yes.
Councilman Hinton,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Councilman Hogg,
Yes.
motion carried.
7A1, unfinished business. It's a second reading with an annexation of approximately 3.16 acres located at 4007 67th Avenue. Ms. Ram.
Yes, sir, Mr. President, this request does come from Don Levy Properties. They are requesting annexation of 3.16 acres located at 4007 67th Avenue. The applicant is requesting the annexation to receive city services. The initial zoning will be agricultural, and it is contiguous to the city limits and does meet all requirements for annexation. This also does come with a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the annexation?
I'll make that motion.
That's a motion by Councilman Roberts. Is there a second by Councilman Hogg?
Yes.
Motion by Councilman Roberts, second by Councilman Hogg. Mr. McCullum.
All right, Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Second item is a second reading of a conditional use of approximately 3.7 acres located at 3205 Horner Creek Road. Ms. Ram.
Yes, sir. This request comes from Mr. Hugh Overmeyer. They are requesting conditional use approval to place fill material in the floodplain. The total acreage of the lot is 3.7 acres. This does come with a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission as well.
Is there a motion to approve the request?
Motion to approve.
That's a motion by Councilman Hogg. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
8B1 is a resolution declaring certain items as surplus and authorizing the disposal. Mr. McCullum, I think these are the chairs that we see in the lobby. We're gonna have to get rid of those.
New ones yet.
Hadn't got the new ones yet. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution declaring those items as surplus, authorizing the proper disposal. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
All right, Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
And Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 2 is a resolution deferring the water and sewer tap fees, development fees, erosion control, sedimentation, and building permit fees. Mr. McCullum, this is for a Habitat home.
Yes, we have a resolution to authorize to defer the tap water and sewer development fees for the Habitat home that's being built on 24th Street.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution deferring the deposit, the water tap, building permit fees, water and sewer development fees, erosion and sediment control fees for the Habitat home being constructed on 2019 24th Street. That's in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hinton. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
And Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Third item is a resolution declaring certain items as surplus and authorizing disposal. This is out of our fire department. Again, these are items that have reached their useful life and need to be disposed of via the surplus process. So I'll make a motion to approve the resolution declaring these items as surplus. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hogg. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
Councilman President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item C is our consent agenda. They are 16 items. They range from minutes of the previous meeting, bill listings, travel and training, and PO requisitions, of course, through utilities, and of course, our various engineering, and of course, a couple road improvement projects. So, again, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed?
Motion to approve.
That's a motion by Councilman Hogg. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Roberts. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
And Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 9, reports of special committees to council. If any member of council or the mayor's office wanted to report from their respective committee at this time.
I'd like to report from the admin committee. The city engineer job description has been approved by the council and the Civil Service Board, and we request now that Mr. Rose advertise or post this position, so position filled shortly.
All right, Ron, do we need to have a resolution on that, or do we just instruct our HR department to go ahead and advertise through the city administrator's office as
Just instruct, that's fine.
All right.
As long as he knows the council's ready for him to proceed.
All right, thank you. Let the record show, Councilman Hinton of the Admin Committee has given an update on city engineer's description and job. It is ready to move forward to public consumption, so to speak, so we can get some applicants in. So thank you, Councilman Hinton. Any further reports of committees to council?
Yeah, Mr. President, Finance Committee met last Tuesday with our Finance Department and Judge Hardy to take a top-down look at the budget. That was our first look at that particular item. And there are some items that we had for spend for 18-19 that need to be resolved, and how we're going to handle that moving forward that weren't done. But otherwise, it looks like our budget is going to be in good shape for next year. We're going to have some challenges making sure we document how we handle the 1 penny increase into next year in the usage, but we hope to have that wrapped up and so that we can present a final budget probably middle of November is what I would probably guess at this point.
Thank you, Councilman. Any further business out of respective committees? All right, item 10 is public hearings. We have none on the agenda. Item 11, city administrator's business. Mr. McCullum.
Well, I just, no business other than to update the council on the efforts being made by Public Works and cleaning up streets, and would welcome any input from our citizens to bring to our attention any areas. We're working on the street cleanup as well as posting of illegal dumping so that we can, and enforcement of the codes. So just for your information, we're continuing to work on that. And I wanted to commend them for a job well done thus far.
Thank you. Item 12, departmental business. We have one or a couple items out of our legal department. Mr. Davis.
Yes, Mr. President, there are two claims. One is a claim by Brad Bull on behalf of Brilliant Coal Company. I don't know if he wants to speak on that or not. The Claims Committee's recommendation is that the claim be denied, and the judge, John Powell, and I met with him on this past Friday at the site to go over his claim, but our recommendation remains that it be denied.
Thank you. This is item or claim 1950, correct?
That's correct.
Hey, is Mr. Bull in the audience? Mr. Bull, if you would come on up. I know you went through the claim process, and I know the council's seen some of it, but I know in the interest of time now, we'll try to get through it. But I do know there is a recommendation to deny claim 1950 in the amount of $25,059. Please state your name and address for the record.
Brad Bull, 803 Main Avenue. Is that good? All right. I am aware that I was denied, and that we did have a meeting the other day with Hardy and Ron and John Powell. And I guess the easiest thing for me to do is just to go, I'm sure y'all have the letter that John Powell wrote to y'all. I'll just start with that. My argument is this: this subdivision should not have been approved. There were several things missing. The main thing I'm after right now is my sewer. I had 2 houses constructed before I realized there was no sewer. I had relied on the final plat, and dug up half the yard before I realized there was no sewer there. Going by the city code that John has highlighted, it is the intention of this paragraph, the sanitary sewer allows the permits to be constructed in all subdivisions to prevent future street cuts or expensive yard cuts involved in the construction of sewer. That's correct. I agree with that completely. If you look down at the bottom of the page, I disagree with what he's saying here. There's no construction of a subdivision to have to prevent future street cuts. Well, that's exactly what I had to do. I had to do an expensive street cut. There was 3 lots in this original subdivision. I don't know if y'all have a copy of the final plat here. The closest sewer was about 165 feet away. Physically speaking, there was no way without a sewer main extension that these lots could have been served by sewer. And according to your code, a sewer main extension, if you look on the second page of John's letter, under section 74-262A, new developments. Well, this was a new development in 2006, and it was approved. The cost of the sewer lines installed in the development shall be at the expense of the developer with no participation of the city. And that's correct. But for some reason, that this subdivision got approved without that. It's not the only thing this subdivision got approved without. The developer at that time asked for half-street improvements waiver, and that was specifically denied. But if you go out there today, there are no half-street improvements. There's a final plat checklist procedure, and it was not followed. It really comes down to that, and to me, it's just that simple. Nobody checked behind this developer to make sure he put the sewer line in. I was told in the meeting the other day that was my fault. I didn't do my due diligence. Well, if I can't rely on the city engineer's signature on the final plat, I'm not sure what I can rely on. That's the whole purpose of a final plat. I've been through many. Matter of fact, I'm going to deal with one with y'all shortly. I know the hoops that you have to jump through to get a final plat approved. And I know what the city engineer's job is to do that. I give him the benefit of the doubt. Say he rode out there and couldn't see the sewer line because it's buried. Okay. How did he miss the half-street improvements? You can't miss that. He never checked the plat. He never checked what was done. I'm the fourth owner in the chain of title of this. I am not the developer. I was also told it was my fault because I should know better, because I do this for a living. Nowhere in your code does it say that just because you're an experienced builder, different rules apply. If you look at John's letter, and I want to say I'm calling out John, I respectfully disagree with John. I like John and we get along, and I'm not intentionally poking fun at him. I think we can agree to disagree sometimes. Part B, he highlights existing areas. The cost of sewer lines installed to serve existing development shall be at the expense of the benefited property owner. Well, I was not the benefited property owner at the time this was developed. That was the original developer. He was the benefited property owner. This is not an existing area at the time it was developed and signed off on. The sewer line should have been there, and it wasn't. I can go on and use a lot of y'all's code as my argument. I can stand up here as long as y'all want to let me.
Let me do this. I know, again, like I was saying earlier, in the interest of time, Brad, I do know that I think council's looked at it, and I've looked at it as much as I can, just with the limited knowledge that I've gotten with the information. And again, you may be referring to a former employee that might have been working.
Sure, there's nobody here that I'm calling
Okay,
out.
so let the record show that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was the city engineer of record as the final plat was
Okay.
signed in 2006.
All right, that's one. And then I think first it was a resurvey of
That's
the
right.
original plat.
Mhm.
All right, and then the second.
Let's talk about that for just a second, John.
Well, let me get through this, and then
Okay.
we'll real quick, because I know in the interest of time, I know
I
we could
understand.
be here all day, and I know you've gone through the claim process. The due diligence is a matter of perception. In the city's point, due diligence may fall on the developer or contractor or builder. All right. The third thing I think would be staff usually try to work out alternatives with you, and I'm assuming John Powell did that as well. I think he did do that, and try to check before, and then I think you guys worked together, and the two lots could have hooked up to it, and of the existing sewer, but the third lot could have hooked up to another existing sewer line, but would have to have a sewer pump.
Incorrect.
All right.
Hang on before you get too far. Let's address a couple of those. Number one, a developer, contractor, builder does not have any special circumstances in this code that I have to look over things that nobody else looks over. We all look to this final plat as approval. Number two, John did work with me. We got the sewer main extension, and that's what we did. 2 lots, it would have been real tricky to get sewer to. You would have had to run a lateral down city right away, which is not looked at
Right.
as good.
Right.
One would have had to been on the pump. The middle lot could have never physically been hooked into sewer without crossing other people's